What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a run from the first stage of the West Virginia Enduro series. The trail is called Bailout. I'm just going to be doing stream of consciousness, so this is my first time watching my run down this trail, so I'll be giving you my thoughts as I run down it. First thing to note, wasn't too familiar with any of the trails at Snowshoe. Had not ridden them. And in addition, my fork was not terribly happy with me, unfortunately. The damper was not working, not able to get full travel, so it was extremely progressive and made things harsh. This trail was not particularly downhill. There was a lot of pedaling in it, but it was really fun. Lots of roots, lots of little chunk, lots of rocks, so that fork is really beating up my hands quite a bit more than I expected. There were a lot of little sneaker lines on this trail, and so trying to remember all the little sections to take was quite difficult. I missed that line back there on the right, which would have straightened everything out and saved me a little bit of time. At times I got a little lost on the trail and wasn't quite sure where to go. I did pre-ride the stage, but between 6 stages I'm trying to remember a lot of different sections and a lot of turns and lines made things pretty difficult. My big goal for the race was not necessarily to race it to win it, but it was more to try to hit every line that I wanted to and stay smooth. As you can see, we're starting to get into the first bigger rock garden. Some serious chunk, and it was definitely pretty wet. There's a high line up on the left, which I think was faster, but trying to hold it wasn't going to work. Here's where I caught my first person on the trail. So here you can see a lot more of the roots and some of the stuff I had to get over and try to ride over. Well, you can't really tell. It was a little tacky, but since it is West Virginia, it was like in some places a little damp, making it difficult to make sure you didn't lose traction around some of those roots. I did pass my second person. At this point I probably should have been pedaling quite a bit harder, but as I mentioned before, I was a little bit more focused on hitting my lines and staying smooth than I was about charging and going quote unquote giving it my all. Having been in Colorado all season long, it was also really interesting coming back and then almost immediately racing something like this. I just wasn't quite used to the roots and the slick and the rocks. That line on the left is a really good line, but I unfortunately did not carry quite enough speed through it, and so I got caught up in the mud. So I probably should have stayed on that right line, but Oh well. Again, here's another section that I could have been charging a little bit harder. Pedaling harder. Here's another one. Come on. Got a little hung up here. Forgot my line, got a little knocked off. And I was running flats for this particular race instead of clips, which was rather interesting considering the race. With the way my fork was, with the damper being a little busted, it made my rear shock go through the travel a little bit more, and so my feet were bouncing off the pedals quite a bit. So it made trying to stay on the bike a lot harder. That coupled with the fork, obviously not getting full travel and being a lot harsher than it should have been. Missed my lines here, so I wanted to stay far left on this line instead of where I ended up. So unfortunately, we're right here. It's where I had to do a couple of turns that I really didn't need to do. Getting close to the end of the stage, and I really could have pedaled a lot harder here.